So I'll get you to define it, but I see spark as like your daily spark, what gets you out of bed. So what gives you your spark? Because you seem, having met you today, you seem a very sparky person, I have to say.
Yeah. I do my best. No, not so much gives me spark. When I think of spark, I think of my drinking days, to get back to that, and to get back to that lonely, dark place, like that decade in my 30s really was the darkest. And I think of it as, when I say it's not rock bottom, it was death by 1,000 cuts. And I see my life now as life by 1,000 sparks. Isn't that nice? And I wrote a little piece about this a few years ago, you know, and it was more with a candle flame, you know, by 1,000 flames, but it's 1,000 sparks. And I think to live a good life, to live a flourishing life, spark isn't just that one-off, you know, crazy experience at a gig, or that rush of love, you know, when you meet somebody you fall in love with, or, you know, the having a baby, you know, and holding that newborn in your arms. I mean, that's really special. They're special moments. But I think spark is incremental.
Yeah.
And it's intentional as well. Some of it is natural. Some of it you can just find by chance. But I think if you live a life, like you say, of structure, so I have a routine that I stick to, and it serves me. It supports my mental health. It supports my physical health. And as a result, I feel I'm more energized. But the real spark, I think, Mary, comes from being aligned.
Yeah.
That's where that spark comes from. Because when I'm actually at my best is when I am living in my character strengths, my top strengths.
Yeah.
You know, like love of learning, creativity, curiosity, they're ones for me. Gratitude is up there for me. Appreciation of beauty and excellence. Like, I remember when I did the test and I got the results, I was like, yes, 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 yes. And then I got self-regulation at the bottom. And prudence.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, well, they're boring anyway.
Right, but that's spot on.
It's so on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think, but the other thing that was actually quite low was zest, like energy.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to and perseverance, I was raging over that, to be honest. I was like, well, come on, guys.
Yeah.
But I said it to the lecturer, and he said, no, Liz, what you've got to realise is your lower strengths are strengths.
They're still strengths.
They just they're not they're not expressed as loudly as creativity and curiosity and love of learning. And I thought, that's so clever. Yeah, that's so true as well.
Yeah, it's not saying you haven't got
That's
perseverance.
it. Yeah, we've all got,
Yeah.
there's 24 character strengths
Yeah.
that they've researched. And we've all got them in varying degrees. But the top 5 are the ones that really, when you know you're on fire, when you are living your best life, you're hitting those 5. And that's really, that's very, very special, I think.
Yeah.
And it can be dancing, it can be going swimming with my friends in Liso Bay, and just, you know, throwing yourself into the Irish Sea on a random Friday lunchtime. It can be, you know, reading a book quietly by the fire.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It can be hanging out with the kids and having a laugh and sending each other memes. But spark is something. Spark is joy, isn't it? It's what to me, I think, spark is what energizes me, and things that energize me are things that bring me joy and comfort.
Yeah.
And enable me to get onto that upward spiral of flourishing.
Yeah.
So yeah, spark's a great one. I love it.
Yeah.
I ask people what's their superpower.
Ah, right. Yeah.
So if I was to ask you, what's your superpower?
What's my superpower?
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot now. So
I think probably to see the humour and see the best in a situation. So even when things are terrible, like I've had quite a lot of crisis and emergency situations, I'm very calm, but I can sort of bring everyone up around me, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably my superpower.
that is a superpower, isn't it?
Well, I hope I'm probably blowing my own trumpet, but
No, but don't own your own bleeding trumpet. Don't. Do you know what I mean?
There you go.
Too often
Yeah.
we say, no, but I don't.
Yeah.
No, own it. Own
Yeah.
your gold. That's my job. I make people do this.
Yeah.
You've got to own your gold.
yeah.
Because if you don't, then who's going to do it for you? Get those positive, you know, affirmations, as we said
Yeah.
earlier. But that's a positive affirmation. It's looking for your superpower.
Yeah.
But it's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think spark is like superpower.
Yeah, because I think everyone's got superpowers.
Yeah.
and I can say not all heroes wear capes. is the old thing,
Exactly, yeah.
And I think perhaps we don't, and that it comes back to what I've just done and gone, oh, I can't say that. 'cause
Yeah.
I'm being big-headed. And that's the problem, isn't it? That
Yeah.
we just generally, as soon as we have a bit of confidence in something, we go, oh, but I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
why not?
Yeah,
Why not? We should be our own biggest advocates.
yeah,
We do it for our kids. We do it for our mates. We do it for random strangers a lot of the time. Let's be honest,
yeah.
don't we?
yeah,
And still we'll go, oh no, but not me, not me. My big one, I said this to you today about not asking for permission, but forgiveness.
yeah,
That's got me through so many things in life.
yeah,
And it's opened so many doors for me as well. And it sounds arrogant sometimes. But sometimes I feel if you don't put yourself out there and do it, nobody's going to come to you and say, would you like to make a podcast, Mary?
yeah, no,
Yeah?
yeah.
Would you like to do some stand-up? Now's your time, darling. Off
Yeah.
you go. Nobody's going to say that.
You've got to give yourself permission.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do wait for a permission slip,
Yeah.
either from, well, a lot of the time from their people around them,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, well, I better not do that because I might upset the friendship group or whatever. I need permission from the group. And I think if you can step outside that, that's when your magic happens.
I think if you're dabbling with anything and you're interested in starting some new venture in your life, I would say start a YouTube channel or start an Instagram page or something, but don't have any of your mates on it.
Yeah,
Make it private, and then and then invite people or open it up, but have do it as an alter ego, because
Yeah.
then it removes all of that crap and all of that expectation and
Yeah.
that fear of failure, because the fear of failure isn't really us failing, it's us failing in front of everybody else. There's a lot of eyes on us, and I know that I say to people, what other people think of you is none of your business, but nonetheless, if you've jumped from a role, if you've been following a path and a well-trodden path that lots of people follow and might be trapped in and can't move, they're looking at you to see where you're going with it.
yeah.
There's a lot of pressure there.
Definitely. Well, that comedy's a big one for that.
Yeah.
Because, as I said this morning, it's the only thing you can do is by doing it. And so you
Yeah.
will fail in front of people. There's no, every comedian worth his salt has died on their arse at some point
Yeah.
in time. And it's in front of everyone.
Yeah.
So you've just got to get over that and go. And comedians will go, oh, God, just totally bombed there, haven't I? But then the next night, they'll do exactly the same material somewhere else. And it'll be brilliant.
And
So,
it's teaching's like that as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Getting in front of a class of kids. To me, it's my area now. It doesn't bother me in the least. So when I do public speaking, it doesn't worry me. And it's quite funny because occasionally when I'm working with, in workshops with adults, you'll see the personalities. And I used to have that personality when I'd be going to trainings if they were boring. I'd be the one in the back with the teenage kind of, yeah, whatever. This is what what?
Yeah.
You did that already, mate. Yeah, all right, insane.
Yeah.
But it's, and they'd get very resistant to you. And I find that a bit of fun now. It's a bit of a challenge, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, to bring them on board by
Yeah.
the end of it, yeah.
And if they don't, then they don't.
Yeah.
And to be able to let that go is important. I think that's a huge thing I've picked up from teaching, to be able to go in and realise that they might hate you at this moment because they don't want to be there. It's
Yeah.
them more than what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's them more than your message.
Their shit, not
It
yours.
is.
That's what I always say.
So let it go
Yeah.
and drop the rope, as I say.
Yeah.
But that's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's knowing when to do it.
Yeah. Timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does